It's important. We are in the Palace of Culture. It's the former Palace of Justice of the city. It's a neoclassical building. And it's a big hall. It was the court 80 years ago. And on the left side, there is a screening of these documentaries, propaganda documentaries from the Second World War. And he mixed in a very tricky way this propaganda documentary. It's a sum of quotations, because between 1939 and 1945, Lithuania was an independent state, was conquered by the Soviet Union, conquered by the Nazi army, and reconquered by the Soviet Union. It was a traumatic experience for 5 years of time. Many people died, and in fact, Raila wanted to say that in fact, it doesn't no matter who was in power, they used the same ways to manipulate the history. And on the right side, it's an English translation of a nationalistic poem read by a poet. You can see him in a small image on the monitor. But it was interesting because the Romanian audience discovered that, yeah, but this is our history. We experienced the same situation. I chose this image because to show you that, to tell you that how we are thinking for an exhibition. It's not a white cube show, because we don't have a professional white cube in the city, so it's a post-white cube. We invented spaces. We fight it with the local administration to get the spaces and to include them in an exhibitional tracé. And here it's a corridor in the Palace of Culture. It's too dark the image, but okay, just to have an idea. And how the works were installed. So in fact, people experienced a secret corridor. Different films and works, doesn't matter to enter into many details now. The city is always, another thing I want to say that we don't parachute works. It's not in our interest to show works which were produced in a different context for different purposes. That's why we see the peripheric as a process which ends in a format of an exhibition. We are inviting artists to spend time in the city, like this Mexican artist, Felix Beltran, who spent 2 weeks, and he made an interesting, we produced a newspaper, and in which he documented the local bookists. This is the Turkish artist Hüseyin Altekin. He installed these mattresses in the Palace of Culture, playing visually with the tile structure, but also creating a work. Creating a work with a beautiful title, Mattresses for Imaginary Destination. This is the Turkish bath of Yash, a space which is out of use. It was built in the 17th century. It is now out of use, and we were using it for 10 years, doing exhibitions there. This is just an example with a photograph of another Turkish artist, Aydan Murtezoğlu. And now just a few words about the last Biennale. This is one of the catalogs, and more catalogs will be seen in this afternoon, and Rolly will bring them for the bookshop. So it was we produced 3 different modules. We invited 3 different curators, inviting them to analyze Yash. So the first module was social processes. It was a German module. We invited 2 German curators, Marius Babias and Angelika Nollert. And they analyzed the position of Yash as an outpost of the European Union, because we are somehow a member, one of the eastern cities, big cities of the European Union now, in 2007. So it was also a process with a strong educational program. We invited not only artists, but critic theorists, like Boris Budin and others, and they had it was a long series of presentations and lectures in the gallery space by involving mainly students, art students. This is the opening, just to have an idea. It's good to see how it was. about, it's not a big event. We have it for the opening 400 people. It's not, and, but mainly there are students, artists from Romania, but of course there is also kind of professional international people which come, and I was very surprised to see that this international magazines called me to organize trips for their journalists to write about it. We never think that this would happen, and we are quite relaxed with this situation. But they are coming because something is happening there, because also we are working with international artists, and maybe for this. This is to see how the exhibition look. This is a gallery in the city with the beautiful work of the American artist Sean Snyders, who made a project about one of our paper billionaires who was copying the spirit of JR from Dallas, if you remember Dallas. And in the back is a work of an English artist, Simon Starling. Come on. Very, very heavy. Makes me stressed. This is it's a French artist, Latifa Ekshash. She's Morocco. She has Morocco origin. And Latifa was interested on this story of the Jewish tradition in Yash, and with this Jewish avant-garde we had, and we produced a mega linocut, huge linocut which covered the whole space in the Palace of Culture, and together with 30 artists we made these linocuts as they were made by Tristan Tzara and Brauner in the 20s. It's a beautiful work, and everybody liked it, because this is the second module. This is the second module I was telling you. It was made by, it was curated by a Romanian curator called Attila Tordai. He's from Cluj. Cluj is another city in Romania like Iași, different from Bucharest, with a strong emerging art scene, with a beautiful and very good theoretical magazine called Ideea. I don't know if you heard about it, but it's one of the good magazines, and both of us, our two magazines, are in this documenta now, which was also a surprise for us that they were interested to invite us. So this is the sports hall of the Arts University. It was an exhibition called, in English, Why Children? And it was an analysis of the situation of who is educating our children, who is taking care about the education of our children. The school, are we happy on the way, like how the school is educating our children? And of course, it had a special connotation in Romania. We are experiencing now a time of primitive accumulation of capital. We have a wild capitalist time. And the children are totally educated to consume. I'm looking to my daughter. This is what's happening with her. She knows all the price reductions because this is how she sees on television. Even in the school, it's such a huge pressure. They try to put advertisement for Coca-Cola even in schools. This is another piece of Romanian artist, Ciprian Mureșan, in the frame of the same exhibition. And I think that it was interesting because he's playing with children, and the children are reading a heavy theater piece written by a Romanian playwright who was living his life in Paris, Eugène Ionesco, The Rhinoceros. And it's a playwright about the disease of the contemporary time, and the children are reading this disease. And the other exhibition was Florence Derriot, a French curator from Paris, and it was called Strategies of Learning, and it was a collection of different works about Romania in the 90s. This is a Bulgarian artist, Luchezar Buyachev. Details. And finally, this is another piece, very beautiful, made by, it's a documentary film made by a Finnish artist, Laura Horelli. Laura Horelli, who spent 2 months in Iași, and we made a documentary film about the communist condition and about a traumatic event which was happening in Iași in 1949.